Welcome to the Ultimate Mobile Racing League. After the mid-season break, we go to the classic on the Ultimate Mobile Racing League calendar, the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, but it is not entirely the same track that we've been racing on in the season opener the last 5 seasons. We are instead at the Applimazing retro version from Ultimate Racing 2D1. It's the third time that we are using this kind of track. Every single time Crustunet has won so far. And last time out, that was the last time at China, where Crustunet had his most dominant win over Laguno this season, and I think the biggest winning gap of the season as a whole. There was another 1-2 for the Williams. Crustunet looked very clear ahead of that. We also saw Justin going up through the field there, and Senna going down, so their battle as the two incredible rookies also continued. Let's see how it's going to be around here. Crustunet so far on provisional pole. We go into the third lap already here. This race has been recorded beforehand, so I might not always talk about exactly what happens on screen, but we just saw Crustunet go across the line and improve his time by another 0.03 of a second, and he's in provisional pole position ahead of Elkrak, who's on the front row, tied with Laguno. Now let's see who set that time first then. Justin and Huanvi in 4th and 5th. Senna is not racing here actually. And now Laguno goes onto the front row, 700s behind his teammate, and now ahead of the Italian Elkrak in the Etruria. And Crustunet now with a 31.57. Absolutely demolishes his previous times, but there's also been someone going up into second place with a 31.68. It's Charged Nitro, aka just Nitro, in the Minardi onto the front row. And here we just saw Matt for a split second in the MP Motorsport. That has been a big change. One time has been absolutely thrown over in these last few weeks after the controversies of the British Grand Prix, where Matt defended very aggressively. Senna has also been called out for his interesting behavior on track many times by the rivals. And that has left, I think Senna is the team owner now, and just also their first driver. F1 fan is no longer racing here as well, or not for that team. I think he is once again in the HRT or in the... you can see him back here. Oh, he's in the one time actually. Okay, but I don't think that he's got a main driver contract anymore. Now Fede has also gone up to P4 here. Incredible. He's just behind Elkrak and ahead of Laguno by 200s. Piggy is also pushing on here in the MP Motorsport. Not entirely flat out through turn 9 here. That's different compared to the Spain 2 version. Of course, there's also the chicane at the end of the lap. Laguno cannot improve his time anymore. Seb going across the line. We are finished with qualifying here. That's Frankie Alessandro improving his time by just a little bit. But it looks like Charged Nitro is going to bring the front row finish for Minardi home. And Crustunet the pole position for the 5th time in 6 races this season. Qualifying is absolutely his territory. And currently the championship lead is as well. 1/10 of a second ahead of Nitro. We have seen closer qualifyings actually. A 10th is a bit more in this game than in real life. Elkrak and Fede make it an all-Italian second row. Laguno P5, 2/10 behind his teammate. Even though Williams have rolled out the Laguno-themed special livery with the Spanish accents, it's actually called LAG04. They've already had multiple Laguno worshipping liveries in the past. That's Huanvi, another Spaniard in the S25M with a special livery that I sadly didn't make. I apologize for that. The post has been put out on YouTube. It's actually a tribute to the victims and also the helping forces from the disaster in Valencia 1 year ago. So it really is a shame that I don't have that one. Justin was tied with Huanvi. He's in P7. He's also taken 1 pole position this season, and Phoenix in P8, this time for Aston Martin. Last time out he made it onto the front row. Majimdar in P9, and Frankie, who's been racing in the first races of this league back in Season 1, is now back on a regular basis in AMRL and UMRL. The reigning champion F1 fan only manages P11. Toaster is in 12th. He's in 13th in the championship overall. So it's not the easiest first season for Minardi. Seb finally returns to racing. He's only raced at the Circuito dos Cristais this season. Guillermo this time in the Etruria again, 4/10 off in his home race. Matt and Piggy actually with a disastrous qualifying for MP Motorsport. Piggy in P16, that's something I have never seen before. Glow, who raced in the very first race at Barcelona, is in 17th. And what is that down in there in 18th? Nice. We are about to go racing at the retro Barcelona track. It's actually one of the most realistic Applimazing tracks. I think it's a bit more stretched vertically than the modern version. Turn 1 is really difficult to take flat out. I think it's more difficult. It might be really tight at the start of the race. I think turn 5, the hairpin, is a bit less of an overtaking spot than this one. It's a lot wider. Then we have the old turn 10 though, so a more hard-braking hairpin, and the old chicane of course, but you don't have to brake for that one. And we have 37 laps, that is 3 more than in the previous seasons. The soft tires last 8 to 13 laps, the mediums 10 to 15, and the hards 13 to 18. We're gonna find out just in a few seconds which driver picks which compound. For the start. And so the title fight continues between our two Williams. Crustunet and Laguno split by 1 line. 5 lights ahead of the drivers. Crustunet is gonna get away very well. Charged Nitro also trying to go up the inside. Laguno seems like he's been pushed off already. El Crack is in P3 still. Fede in 4th place. Huenby and Laguno wheel but to wheel into turn 4. Nitro is shown the outside line by Crustunet as we go through the hairpin. El Crack maybe having a sniff now. Can he go round the outside of turn 9 here? Crustunet. Oh, and that was a lag spike. So nobody's gone off the track there. Everything's fine for Crust at the front. El Crack up to 2nd place on the medium tires. Then Laguno is racing Majimdar and also Toaster coming out of the last corner. Laguno has lost 1 position off the start. Fede in 4th place. He goes off the track though at the exit of turn 1. That's what I have been fearing for the drivers here, as Matt now goes around the outside. What a start by the Frenchman in his first race for MP Motorsport. Started down in P15. Now Laguno and Fede are battling here for 4th position. Laguno just going a bit wide. Fede is on the hard compound tires, which are of course going to last longer. And Justin is slipstreaming. Whoa, that's Laguno and Fede going side by side into the first corner. Just behind that, we see Toaster also with a nice start. Laguno sweeping in and just leaving Fede enough space and taking 4th for now. But now Toaster is also coming back at them. Fede with a big drift here around turn 7. And Frankie's are moving around as well in the APA. Big train of cars right there, but Crustunet clear at the front on the medium tires. Nitro the only one inside the top 5 who's not on mediums but on softs. Oh, and Toaster now touching the grass as well. Fede is watching the battle from behind now. And Majimdar has also made up a few spots off the start. Oh, and Fede diving down the inside in the background. And Laguno closing up to El Crack, who is in 2nd place at the time. And now Laguno and charged Nitro also almost going 3 wide down the straight. Nitro though bailing out, and Laguno skipping across the grasses it seems. But Laguno now up into P2 already. Williams 1-2 after 4 laps in this race. And Matt near the front of this train. It's Fede and Majimdar have also been fighting here. Toaster in the Minardi now falling back a little bit again. But the gap between the two Williams at the front is actually quite big, as it has been at China already. The advantage is on Crustunet's sides in pretty much every area at the moment. Laguno has won 2 races this season so far, as has Crustunet. Crustunet at Japan and China, as I already said. Then Laguno at Brazil and Portugal. And the 5th win went to Justin. His first win of his career, of course. A fantastic 1-2 finish for a Troya Racing team at the British Grand Prix. Every single race this season so far has been a 1-2, and we have only seen one 1-2 before that ever, and that was in the third race of the Ultimate Mobile Racing League ever. And that is actually a pretty rare thing. Now it's happened 5 times in a row. It's no longer that rare as it seems. And if one fan is, as it seems, trying to get that strange boost that you sometimes get when you go down the straight, as he goes wheel to wheel with Justin. Didn't quite work out, but he still makes the pass also on Frankie and goes up into 10th place. Started in 11th. He's not made too much progress so far. And Piggy has, though. He's now the MP Motorsport that's in front. And he has gone ahead of 1V, who is in his home race. Nitro still on the podium at the moment. I said that that Minardi might be able to hope for a podium here. Nitro's podium is long overdue. There have been other drivers that have risen from AMRL in these last few races that have managed to take one before him. Nitro is currently in P2 in the Amateur Mobile Racing League. Justin in first, and that's by quite something. Senna is actually only in 5th in the Junior League. And yeah, Justin very much the favorite to win that title. And now the first drivers are pitting, including Nitro. Down to 14th place he goes. Justin also already gone onto a fresh set of soft tires. Glow retires from the race on lap 10. He's been at the back of the field anyway, but his first race this season comes to an early stop. And Laguno is also going for a stop here and goes for the soft tires. That might be his attempt to get close to Crustunet here. Now he has to get past Guillermo and F1 fan quickly, though. The 3 champions, 3 wide into the hairpin, but Crustunet in the but Laguno in the middle of both of them does manage to beat them already and goes to P8. And that seems like it was his biggest hurdle on the way, maybe. Now El Crack also pits from the very front. Crustunet still going along with the 4.4 gap over Fede. Matamar is also up there, the mediums, as I said, last 10 to 15 laps today. And Laguno pushing on a lot here. Maybe a bit too much as he goes across the grass in turn 11. And Toaster and Matamar pits. And now Crustunet comes out of the pit lane. Is Laguno gonna go round the outside of him? Yes, he is in turn 1. And Laguno has just undercut Crustunet for P1. Crustunet is in his slipstream on the fresh, hard tires. You don't have to heat these up in the game here, but Laguno on the softs still seems to have the advantage at the moment. Crustunet can just pick off the slipstream for now, and everything should still be fine. But now they are really closely together, as Laguno went from 5th position on the grid up to 1st. Another nice comeback drive. Crustunet, though, does not have to do the comeback drives this season. Piggy is just behind them there on the old hard. Of course, not really competing for the victory, but still he's high up and can pick off the slipstream, just as Crustunet is doing. As we go down the straight here, Laguno immediately swerving to the right hand side to break the toe. Crustunet not really having a chance into turn 1 anyway. Now the order has been sorted again. Everyone has made one stop, and Nitro is in 3rd place. His teammate does have quite some defensive work to do here as Fede tries to size up a move on Seb here. Almost gets squeezed to the outside, but nice awareness from Seb here as they are going from right to left down the straight again, the 2 Williams. which are just separated by 11.5 points at the top of the championship. Crustunet on the podium in every single race this season so far. Laguno has had one P5 finish at the British Grand Prix. Crustunet, of course, shared that third place with Senna. They were absolutely tied, so he got a bit less points out of that than he might have hoped for. But still, it's a very nice championship lead for him at the moment. This certainly is the most exciting championship fight that we have ever seen. Crustunet is trying to win this championship ever since Season 3, where he first was a contender in the fight against Guillermo. And of course last season as well, with the 4 championship protagonists. But this time they are all here. It's completely down to who performs best. They have been at every single race so far, always shown up. And Laguno, of course, is the statistical GOAT here. Crustunet is trying to beat him in his home, which is Williams. This track, of course, is home to both of them. And Guillermo here is diving up the inside of Frankie. Guillermo with the inside, also in the third corner here, which is a very long right-hander. That gives you a bit of an advantage as well. And still we have to take a look at the 2 Williams here. They are 5 seconds ahead of Nitro now. But separated by almost nothing. Matt has now fallen back down to last place here. I think Hohenby is also out of the race, sadly, in his home Grand Prix. And Matt has been pretty high up at the start. Now he's where he was in qualifying again. And here is Piggy. This is the fight for 7th place, as there is a strange move by Fede on the straight, but Piggy manages to get past and up into 7th place anyways. And still Crustunet now into turn 10, maybe trying to do the move around the outside. Laguno's old tires have now let him down, and Crustunet is gonna take the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix again, and Laguno is forced into the pit lane already again. He now goes for hard tires. Are these gonna carry him to the end of the race? It is not gonna be an easy task, but I think Crustunet is gonna have to do something similar. Soft tires would be a huge advantage for the championship leader here. Let's see if he's gonna get it done. But I think it's gonna be more of a medium tire strategy then. Guillermo is in 8th place, having to defend that one. He's definitely not a championship contender this season. He is sat in 8th place in the standings. And his best finish was P7 at Brazil so far. His ambitions are different this season. Leclerc, just for a moment, has gone back up to P2. Is he gonna be the one who brings home the podium and deny Charged Nitro maybe, who is in 8th now after his second pit stop? Laguno has just gone past with a very easy pass in the first corner. Frankie and Phoenix also come out of the pit lane. Phoenix racing for Aston Martin again. As he did at the British Grand Prix last time he was racing for MP Motorsport, but not managed to score points in either of his appearances. And Craig is actually still pretty close to Laguno. Maybe again A strategic masterclass by the Italian. He is known for reading the situations very well and adapting with quite some alternative but very successful strategies. Now Piggy is in 4th, also on hard tires. Fede in P5, top 5 as it seems. Just trying to carry their tires as far as they can at the moment. Nitro is doing something different. It might even turn out to be a 3-stopper for him. Let's hope that that's not gonna deny him of his chances of taking a first ever podium. Then Justin, the Flying Dutchman in P7. Not really close to the podium at any point this race. And of course, still gonna pick up some nice points. He sat in P3 in the standings, 30 points behind Laguno, but also nearly 20 points ahead of his rookie sensation rival Senna, who is not racing this time anyway. And then we got F1 Fan. Took 5th place last time at China. 3 5th places actually this season for him. The reigning champ also not entirely up there. It's just down to the 2 Williams, if we're completely honest. But that is definitely enough in terms of epic stories. And PE is all over the back of Nitro here, even though his tires aren't the freshest anymore as well. And Fede is a bit more on his own. He's actually also 2nd behind PE, but then we see Justin and F1 Fan. And now Crustunet goes for the soft tires. Yes, he has actually managed to do it. And now he's going to hunt down Laguno, who's just 1 second ahead of his rival. There's not much that he could put on here as a defense. I mean, right now maybe. But it looks like it's a very clear advantage again for Crustunet in this race. He has never won around this track. And it might even be his first home victory. I'm not entirely sure. Yes, it looks like it. Now up the hill towards turn 9. Crustunet getting very close already, but it's impossible to go side by side through there. And into the hairpin, he cannot get a pass done. Track at the straight is just a little bit too short. This one definitely isn't, as he once again goes into the slipstream towards the outside of turn 1. Crustunet is very much alongside, and he does go ahead of his championship rival already into turn 4, though. Crustunet has got the outside line then again with the nose ahead in turn 5, and he makes the pass at the corner where I said that it's difficult to overtake in this retro version. But Crustunet, with his soft tire advantage, absolutely has made good use of it. And now he's looking to win the Spanish Grand Prix for the first time ever, unless his rival can do something about it. Laguno's still putting his car up the inside, but once again he is left with a disadvantage in turn 5, swooping round the outside anyway of turn 7, though. Laguno putting on a massive defensive drive after he's already been passed. But his old hard tires definitely still working. Crustunet having to go to the inside now, almost onto the grass. Crustunet in turn 1, across the grass again. And Laguno still keeping it. I think it was clean. It more looked like some internet connection issues. But that's difficult then to keep it on track for both of them. And Nikhil is gonna watch with a very scared face here. And now it's actually kind of died down. 2 seconds is the gap again between Laguno and Crustunet. What has happened? I think the advantage still goes to Crustunet at the moment. But he has now lost a lot of time, both on track in terms of the gap and also in terms of his tire life. The soft tires, of course, dying down faster than the hards. 1.3 seconds, now 1.8 again as we go down the straight. What's it gonna be across the line? 1.6 was it? Just 3 laps to go now. We just take a look at the order further down. Charged Nitro in 4th place here. And still dealing with Piggy, the champion from the autumn season last year. Just behind him. Both struggling with their tires. And then we get Toaster, Majimdar, Fede, Guillermo, and this is Phoenix and Frankie. Frankie sent to the escape road there. .6, the gap on lap 36 of 37. And as the 6 turns to the 7, Laguno and Crustunet are still left with a bit of a gap between them. Where is Crustunet gonna be at the end of this lap? Is he gonna be the winner of this race? Piggy to the inside of Nitro now. This is for 4th place. Nitro still trying to hang on, do the same thing that Laguno did. And he manages, but Piggy stays ahead. Now we have to see where Laguno is. He's on the inside of turn 10 here, the hairpin. Laguno and Crustunet both really much drifting here. Crustunet in turn 12, sliding out a bit wider. This leaves him with a disadvantage, but he's got the slipstream. And it's an exact tie for the race win between our championship protagonists. Well, the race ends with 2 winners. This still leaves Crustunet with the advantage for the next 4 rounds, and Laguno has lost more time. Are they gonna be happy with this result? 2 times in the past, we've seen some of the best races of this league end with a 200th gap between these two, but we have never seen anything like this. It is gonna be Elcrack taking home his first podium of the season, his longest run without one, which was exactly 2 races, where he took 4th, and 4th goes to Nitro around Barcelona, just shy of his first podium. I can't really say that that's because of his strategy. I'm not sure how it exactly played out then, but the 3-stop gave him more chances to set a good lap time on the fresh tires, and that's something that he did successfully. Fastest lap of the race goes to him. Piggy in 5th for his team MP Motorsport, starting in 16th place, and he was very close to Nitro. And it's turned out to be Minardi's best ever race with 4th and 6th, their team owner finishing just ahead of Majimdar. Guillermo finishes 8th in his home race, Fede in P9, losing 5 spots from the start, but he finally gets to finish a race again. And Justin with 10th place actually takes his worst result of the season after being on the podium 2 times in a row. F1 fan finishing where he started in 11th. Phoenix by 100th of a second is inside the points this time, ahead of Frankie in the APA. Seb pointless for Hurricane Racing Team, a team which has now got 2 team principals. Mihsrb, Mihsrb. I've been told to pronounce it as it's written, but I don't exactly know what that means. But he joins Cider and Cato, team principal and team owner, in the team's leadership. 3 retirements, Matt actually ending up as one of them in his first race for Piggy's team. Then also Huanvi for S25M and Glow for 1 time. Crustunet gets 2 points for his pole position, but apart from that, yes, the 2 Williams do get the exact same number of points. 22.5 is the average between 1st and 2nd place. Justin just gains 3 points, and he's still pretty clear of Senna. And you can see his name is purple. Here's the next breaking news. Senna has been offered a main driver contract from S25M Racing after Majimdar has announced his retirement. Team owner of S25M, of course, spent some seasons at Williams in the past and started for the 101st, where he took his first podium in his first race. But now he's decided to stop for now because of his lack of motivation, as he says. Luckily, he's doing a lot of stuff apart from that, also helping out organizing much more than just UMRL, and it wouldn't be the same without him. But he's still gonna stay, of course, maybe even sometimes racing as emergency reserve driver for S25M. But his main driver career comes to an end. It's 5th place for number 67, Sigma Bob. Every driver can select a number from 2 to 999 since last week. And Elcrack is now just 1 point behind his teammate and fellow Italian. And driver number 1, F1 fan, who's now an independent driver, also won't race on mobile regularly anymore. We wish him all the best for PC and hope to still see him sometime around here. But the reigning champion has accomplished everything he wants. And same goes for Guillermo and Piggy, as it seems the champion's just chilling there from P7 to P9. Nitro and Toaster now climb up a few spots for Minardi. Williams take home 47 points for the 4th time this season. They're gonna have a chance of wrapping the title up next time at Sao Paulo already. Then Etruria P2 ahead of 1 time, Hurricane Racing Team and Minardi, who now go ahead of APA and S25M. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I think you're gonna enjoy the next one as well. We go back to Interlagos, one of the 2 returning tracks from last season. 25% chance of rain. It is not gonna disappoint. Tune in when the Ultimate Mobile Racing League returns.